Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make a 2-tier drip cake featuring a beautiful chocolate flag. I've got a 12-inch cake board, applying some half buttercream, half cream cheese frosting just to stick my cake to the board. Filling in the cake with the exact same frosting, making sure it's nice and flat, and applying on my next layer of cake. This is a 9-inch cake, and I've cut 2 9-inch cakes in half to make a 4-layer cake in total. Using a spatula, let's create our crumb coat. So this will create a layer that will stop any crumbs from getting into the final layer of frosting. Start with the outside and then go in with extra frosting up at the top as well. Just pushing it out to the sides and then flattening it out with your spatula. Making sure to remove that lip of frosting at the top of the cake and then popping it into the freezer, and in the meantime we'll work on our top tier. This is a 7-inch marbled cake on a 7-inch cake board resting on another cake board that's a bit larger, just to make it easier for me to decorate. Here I'm doing the opposite, starting at the top and then working my way out to the sides. Again, just creating a crumb coat. Making sure it's at the very bottom as well. Using my bench scraper here to flatten out the sides, and then again clear up the very top using a spatula. Pop that into the freezer for another 10 minutes, and then in the meantime we'll work on our other cake, which has been resting for 10 minutes as well in the freezer. Applying a healthy amount on the very top of the cake. This is just buttercream that I've tinted pink. Applying a healthy amount to the sides as well, and then using your bench scraper, going around the cake pretty quickly just to even out the sides, and then going around it slowly to smooth off that buttercream and giving it a very nice smooth finish. Clear up the top as well, and then again I'll be popping that into the freezer for 10 minutes. Do the exact same thing with your top tier cake. Here I've tinted my buttercream blue instead. Again, a healthy amount, and then go around with your bench scraper slowly to smooth off the buttercream. And the very top, bringing that extra lip of frosting to the center of the cake, and into the freezer it goes as well. Now here I've put aluminium foil on my cake board just to make sure my airbrush color doesn't reach the cake board. Starting very close to the very bottom of the cake to make a nice hard color. And then as I rotate the cake constantly, I'll move my airbrush further away from the cake, and this will give it a more dispersed, faded in, shaded effect. If you work too close to the cake, once you get to the midsection of the cake, you will find that it'll leave a clear line. So try to work further away from the cake as you move up the cake. Here I've got some extra thick straws. These will work as dowels, which will support the weight of the top tier cake. Got 3 of those. Make sure to cut them at the surface of the buttercream. Pop on your second tier, and then start with your chocolate ganache. This is dark chocolate ganache. I'll have the recipe in the description box below this video. Using a spatula to push out the ganache to the sides of the cake. Then I went in with a teaspoon and added in my drips. I would recommend going in with a piping bag. One, it's a lot faster and you have more control. And if it's a lot faster, the drips will mold with the rest of the ganache very easily. It'll be seamless. So that's the benefits of using a piping bag compared to a teaspoon. And I've taken a piping bag and I'm going around the cake, the bottom tier here, making sure they meet up. And then creating little drips to go down the cake here as well. And just piping them out with the piping bag, making some thicker, some longer, some shorter, just for a bit more interest. And once you put on the drips, start decorating your cake. Here I've got some white chocolate balls, some macarons, and some Kinder shards here, the Kinder chocolate bars. I've also added on some Love Heart lollies and meringues. I have a recipe for homemade meringues as well. I'll leave a link in the description box below for that one. And now we'll create our chocolate flag. So I've got some baking paper, scrunching it up to make sure that the chocolate flag has a lot of texture. Raising the middle section so it has some shape, and then adding dark chocolate. And then on top of that, some white chocolate that I've tinted the colors that I need to, and adding in a little bit of vegetable oil to that white chocolate as well so it doesn't seize. Move the paper around so the chocolates mold well together and kind of blend. And before it dries, I'm adding in some white sprinkles. Now you can pop this into the fridge to set completely. I left mine at room temperature, and removed it from my baking paper. Now it wasn't set completely, so it didn't come off as well as it should have. So if your chocolate's getting a bit stuck, leave it for a little longer to dry. But this worked out well anyway. Then I'm popping it just behind my cake topper here, pressing it into the cake, making sure it sticks, and you're done. That's how you make a very easy 2-tiered loaded drift cake. This cake kind of design's created with the airbrush, but if you don't have an airbrush, you could just add light coloured buttercream up top, dark coloured buttercream at the bottom, and then with your scraper, scrape it across and kind of blend the colours in that way, and you'll achieve a very similar effect. But yes, that's the tutorial for this Tuesday. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. And if you like little cake toppers, I do sell those on my website, rosiesdessertspot.com.